We were snowed in at the ski lodge when someone cut the power and said, "No one gets out alive until one of you confesses." Floor near the shattered glass, and ice was forming on the inside of the intact windows. I knew we were running out of time in multiple ways. Oliver might not survive much longer without real medical help. The cold might kill us all before Rachel had to fire another shot, and that 20-minute deadline was ticking down with every second we wasted. Elena turned to face Henry directly and asked him point blank if he drugged Rachel at the party. Her voice was shaking but determined, like she'd made up her mind to push through her fear and get the truth. Henry's face went completely white, all the blood draining out of it so fast I thought he might pass out. He started stammering about how that was crazy. Why would she even think that? Where was she getting these ideas? But his denial sounded hollow and panicked instead of offended. A truly innocent person would have been angry at the accusation, would have demanded to know why anyone would think such a terrible thing. Henry just sounded scared and desperate, and that told us everything we needed to know. My brain started replaying that party in sharp detail, like someone hit rewind on a video I'd tried to forget. Henry had been all over Rachel that night, following her around with drinks, always pushing a red cup into her hands. I'd thought he was just being friendly, maybe trying to get her to loosen up since she'd been so quiet after everything we'd done to her. But now I could see his face in my memory, how focused he'd looked, how he kept checking to make sure she drank from the cup he'd opened himself. She'd said something felt wrong maybe 20 minutes after taking that drink from him. Her words had gotten slurred and her eyes looked confused, like she couldn't quite focus on anything. I'd watched her stumble toward the bathroom and I'd done nothing, just stood there like the coward I was. The memory made me want to throw up right there on the lodge floor because I'd seen it happen and I'd known something was off but I hadn't said a word. Walker's voice cut through my thoughts, sharp and defensive. He told Elena she needed to back off because we were all stressed out and turning on each other was exactly what Rachel wanted us to do. But Scarlett wasn't having it anymore. She stepped forward and pointed out that Henry had been the one to suggest throwing that party in the first place, that he'd been weirdly insistent about Rachel coming, even though we'd spent months making her life horrible. Elena joined in, her voice shaking but determined, reminding everyone that Henry had kept pushing drinks on Rachel even after she'd said she felt weird and wanted to go home. Mia was nodding along now, backing away from Henry like she'd just realized she'd been standing next to a monster this whole time. I watched Henry's face change as everyone stared at him, watched the color drain out until he looked gray in the green emergency lighting. His mouth opened and closed a few times like he was trying to find words that would make this okay, but nothing came out except this broken, sobbing sound. Tears started running down his face and his whole body shook, and he kept saying he didn't mean for anything bad to happen. The words tumbled out of him fast and desperate, how he just wanted her to relax and have fun, how he'd put something in her drink to loosen her up. He swore he didn't know she'd react so badly, that he didn't think we'd all turn it into ammunition to use against her. He kept saying it like that made it better, like his intentions somehow erased what he'd actually done to her. The confession just hung there in the freezing air between us, while we all processed what he'd admitted. Even Walker looked sick.